Hi guys, how are you all? Julia here from Promise Garden, and today I just wanted to talk to you very briefly about planting tomatoes. So these have been started for about a month now, and some of them are 2-3 inches tall, and I have a whole bunch of different varieties. I have indigo rose, bumblebee, some beefsteaks, San Marzanos, Romas. We have some cherry tomatoes, some sauce tomatoes, so a good variety of different tomatoes. What I wanted to touch base on today was for anyone who's starting out and is just brand new to planting tomatoes. It is an awesome process. It's very easy. Tomatoes are low maintenance, and they basically take care of themselves as long as you give them proper light. Now I'm starting these indoors under grow lights for about a month now. I have them on a timer, about 18 hours of sunlight, or not sunlight, excuse me, 18 hours of lights, and then at night I just shut them off for the remainder of the 24 hours. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is basically transplanting or upplanting your seedlings, right? So when they get about, actually let me back up a step. So when I planted these, I planted them, I just scattered sowed them, and I had more than one per cell. Now that is to basically do two things. One, it will tell you which seeds are viable, so you don't take up a whole cell on a seed that doesn't come up, and you don't waste time, a week at a time, because it might take a week for the seeds to germinate, and then you can tell if the seed is going to grow or not. But if you plant one cell at a time and say half of them don't germinate, then you wasted half your tray. So this is a good way to determine whether or not you're going to get the seedlings to grow. Right? So first they were all planted in mass, and then I basically separated them like this, and now I'm individually planting them into their own cells. And I'm just using the back end of a chopstick, right? And we just make a divot in here. This is basically acting as our dibble, and we're gonna make it pretty deep, and then we're going to plant these tomatoes, right? And if you can tell, let's see, you see the little fuzzy hairs along the stem, right? Those are potential roots. So if you were to plant the stem all the way up to, say, here, all of these have the potential of developing into roots, just like the roots at the bottom here, right? So what we're gonna do is we are going to insert this all the way into the hole, and we're gonna plant it in there pretty deeply, right? So and then we're gonna just cover it up, and then we're gonna add a lot more dirt right on top. All right, now that will ensure that all those little fuzzy hairs develop into roots, and it will make the stem of the tomato plant stronger. It'll get thicker, and it will mature a lot sooner than if we were to just leave the root at its current level. And you can do this even in the garden. You can just from time to time just top off the dirt and just keep adding a little bit more. Whenever you pass by, this will, like I said, develop more root structure. All right, and always water your tomatoes from the bottom and have proper air circulation, especially if you're planting them and starting the seeds indoors. Maybe have a little fan oscillating in the room, and proper light. Alrighty guys, so I think that these are just some things to keep in mind when you're transplanting your tomatoes. And in my case, like I said, I'm just planting them all into their own cells after I mass sowed them in one container. Now after you do this, just make sure that you pre-make all your labels ahead of time with all your different varieties, and just stick them in the cells as you go. That way there's less of a chance for a mix-up down the road, and you'll have a marker to stick next to each plant once you plant them in the garden. Also, when there's no more chance of a frost, slowly transition the starts to the outside by just gradually increasing them to the elements. Just put them outside for a little while longer each day. That way the leaves won't get burned and they'll just have some time to build up a tolerance to the outside before you permanently plant them in the garden. Alrighty guys, so I think that's all I have for now. Thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this video, and if you found it helpful, please consider subscribing. Thank you.